Let me tell you a little bit of our guest speakers. Our first time on our call. That's right, first time. She's a lot of fun. Trust me. She's fun is a big value for her, and she's a American Sign Language interpreter. She's love traveling around the world. She loves going to different countries and discovering different cultures. She's been over 35 different countries already. 35, that's right. I love that. I love traveling. She's from California, but she lives in Washington, D.C. She's committed to see her team win. Just like I just said, I put my foot in my mouth. I want to see all of you win, regardless of affiliation. And with that said, let's give a round of applause to RC, Miss Jen Olson.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. And you are exhibiting, you are being what I am going to talk about today. So thank you for being like in the flesh, a contribution to each one of us. I respect you so much, Mr. Thomas, and you are committed that people win, that people experience blessing, that they experience beauty, that they experience culture and things that maybe they've never experienced before. And thank you so much for that. Thank you for who you are for all of us. You're the kind of leader that like I just have so much respect for as a servant leader. Like you've never asked me even who, like what team I'm a part of. Like I have it that you see everyone as a part of your team, and that like if one person wins, we all get to win. And so thank you for that example. Like truly. So thank you for who you are. Well, like he said, my name is Jen Olson. I'm here in Washington, D.C., and I'm excited I didn't know it was 30 minutes. I was like, yes, I only have until 12:30 Eastern time. This is going to be great. But I'll share what the Lord has put on my heart. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be with each one of you. And looking at you from this side of the screen occurs a little differently, right? I'm normally sitting. I might send a text message, I'll take some notes, eat a little snack, but here I'm like looking at you and you're listening to me. Like this is a different experience. And Julian Lewis has some crazy eyes going on. It's just great to be with each one of you. And the way that I see you and who I'm speaking to today are people who are created to be a contribution. Like that's who you were created to be, is to be a contribution in this world. So I have it, the context that I'm coming from is that the Lord like uniquely created each one of you. He put dreams and visions inside of each one of you. He put gold inside of you that he wants to come out and like just share with the world and to make that difference. So that's who I'm speaking to today, is a group of 75 people who were created to be a contribution. So you may be thinking of yourself and like, yeah, like I make a difference with my kids. That is an amazing contribution. And like, I don't want to diminish that. Or I make a contribution with my one neighbor, but I can't see myself making a contribution with hundreds or thousands of people. I can't see like the ripple of who I am in the world, like impact the entire world. Well, I would assert you're created to have a ripple effect throughout the entire world and to leave a legacy in people and with people that goes way beyond who you are or who you think you are and what you see for yourself. So I have it that we're created to be a contribution, and then we're going and we're doing it and we're like, yeah, we're making a difference, and something comes along in life and we take ourselves out of that game. So just as a side note, I'm totally speaking to myself today. And I'm including you in the conversation, just so you know, like this is 100% like speaking to myself. So going along in life and you're like, I'm going to make a difference. And something happens and you take yourself out of the game. Something gets squashed, right? Maybe it happened when you're really, really young. Maybe it happened when you're a teenager, maybe in your early 20s, but you're like, no, it's a little too risky for me to put myself out there. I'm going to stay small. I'm going to stay where it's safe. I'm going to do what feels comfortable instead of like risking yourself and being who you're created to be. So I have it that there are two things that stop us in life. This is just what I see. One of them is circumstances. So I am committed to being an RD. I am committed to being an RVP. I am going to do this thing. Like, this goes beyond the business, but I'll probably use the business as an example. Like, this is what I am going to do. But I've never done that before. But I'm not like Mrs. Driscoll, but I'm not like Mr. Thomas. Like, I don't have what they have. I want to do something, but fill in the blank. What is it for you? For me, for Jen Olson, I want to be a senior vice president, but I have been an executive team leader for over 4 years. I, Jen Olson, want to make a difference with thousands of people, but there's fear. Like, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. What is it for you? What is it for you that stops you from being the contribution that inside, deep down inside, if you took off whatever layers are there that are like, no, 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 play it safe. What is it that stops you? I can't hear you. So could you put it in the chat? What is it that stops you from being that contribution? Tell me. I'm trying to see if I can see it. Fear. Okay. I want to do X, but I'm fearful. All right. What else stops you? I want to do this, but I've never done it before. I want to do this, but I'm scared of failing. I want to do this, but I have these limiting beliefs. I want to do this, but it's unknown. I want to do this, but I have a lack of confidence. I want to do this, but I take care of my mother 24 hours and I have a sister who's handicapped. I'm stressed. I want to do this, but I'm scared of rejection. Okay. I want to do this, but I have a person in my family who's struggling with addiction. I want to do this, but I have 10 kids. God bless you. I want to do this, but I am broke. I want to do this, but my car is like, it's broken down. I want to do this, but I'm dealing with my health. I want to do this, but I'm working 80 hours a week. I want to do this, but something. So it's our circumstances, right? They're real. They're happening. They're valid in that context, in that but context. And might I add, it's a little stinky over there in that but context. I want to do this, but this. Well, what if I want to do this. So I want to be an SVP, but I have 2 arms. What the heck does that have to do with being an SVP? I want to be an SVP, but I have on black tennis shoes. Wait, what? What does wanting to be an SVP and having black tennis shoes have to do with each other? I want to be an SVP, but I was born in California. Okay. I want to be an SVP, but I speak pidgin. I want to be an SVP, but I live in Texas. I want to be an SVP, but I was a hairstylist. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing, right? There's no relationship. I want to do this, but I have brown eyes. I want to do this, but I have 2 parents. I want to do this, but I'm wearing a purple shirt. I want to do this, but I got a haircut last week. Like, there's no relationship. And in our language, we're acting as if there is a connection. So I want to do this, but something is like full stop. There's no opportunity to look for like, what can I put aside and create? It's just, that's it. I want to do this, but that, I'm done. No mas. Okay, cool. Now I don't have to deal with the fact that inside of me, there's something that wants to come out, that I want to be a contribution. It kind of numbs that, like, what you were created to do. It numbs it. So I can go along in life and pretend like everything's okay. It's that like numbing drug. I'm good. It has nothing to do with one another. So what if we just erase? That's the way that an eraser sounds. I want to do this, and I was born in California. we already heard that like I was born in California has nothing to do with like being whatever position or making whatever contribution you want in the world, right? But when we put and in there, we might be able to see how it's not related, right? Like, I want to go to Disneyland and I cut my hair last week. Cool. Thanks for telling me those two things that have nothing to do with each other, but thanks. I want to be an SVP and I have 200 points. Awesome. Cool. Thanks for sharing those two things. It gives us a place to look, to discover like us being the contribution that we're created to be. It opens things up. It doesn't like shut the door. Have you ever talked with someone and they walked away? You're like, I guess the conversation's over. I want to do, or I'm committed to doing this, or whatever. You're giving your word to something, and something else opens up the conversation, keeps the person in the conversation. We get to look. We get to look to see what's possible. It takes us out of all that stuff happened before, so it's just not possible. Or you don't know who I am. If you knew my story, if you knew my circumstance, no, you were created to be a contribution. You were created for greatness. Like, have you done something where your heart's like, you know you're alive. You were created to like be that contribution, to step out. Like just to step out into that space, like those amazing good works that the Lord prepared for you to do way before you even anything, any sign of you on this earth. Like you get to like walk in those. We get to walk in those. Okay, so salsa steps. Okay, so you're created to be a contribution, but there are things that stop us. And we say that there's things that stop us. So I would assert the first one is circumstances, but no longer. Or and no longer. Because we erase that but out of it. We stuck in that and. And so it's no longer something that has to stop us or something that we have no power over. Okay. So can you put in the chat, like you guys put some things. I don't know if I could go back. Un momentito. That's 1 minute in Spanish. Okay, so some people put in their confidence, overthinking, limited beliefs. Oh, Miss Kenny put in there, I want to be an SVP, but I'm taking care of my mom 24 hours and I have a sister who's handicapped. I want to be an SVP and I am taking care of my mother and I have a sister who's handicapped. Okay, I got it. Like I get that you're taking on a lot, Kenny, and not to diminish that. And there's opportunity for you to be who you're created to be and what like the Lord has given you as a vision to do. Okay, the second thing, that would be 4. The second thing, 2 things that stop us. The second one is ourselves. So some of you already alluded to this in the chat. Those beliefs, right? That we have and we take on as our own. And some of you said them in there, like, you know, hi, my name's Jen. I have brown, kind of graying hair. I'm from California. My mom is from Costa Rica. My dad is from New York. And I'm not good enough. We take it on like it's who we are. Hi, my name is Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll. I am absolutely fantastic. I'm wonderful, because that's who you are for me, Mrs. Driscoll. And maybe there's a fear of failure. And I'm just, I'm scared of being I'm a failure. I'm a failure. What? That's who you were born and your parents were like, oh, we have a sweet failure daughter. Oh, we have a sweet daughter who is just not good enough. If we only had somebody else. Is that who you were created as? What is it for you? What is that thing that's like, every time you're like ready to like risk yourself, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna risk myself. I'm doing something that's maybe a little bit challenging or outside of my comfort zone. Or I'm gonna take this on. I'm gonna ask this person on a date. Ooh, risky. I'm gonna, I don't know what would be risky for you. I'm gonna start this new business. I'm gonna give my word to getting 10 points a day. I am gonna, no. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'm not gonna say it's true. What's that thought that's right there? You're not like the other people. You're no, but I'm a failure. I'm a failure. Ugh, I'm not good enough. So we'll go back a few years. I'm 39, so we're going back 35 years. When I was about 4 or 5, I was with my cousin, and he asked me to do something. And I didn't want to do it. I had no desire to do it, and I did it anyways. And it doesn't matter what he asked me to do. The point is, inside of me, with my whole being, I did not want to do it. And I did it. And what I made that mean in that moment was, Jen, you're not good enough. Like, if you were good enough, someone wouldn't ask you to do that. If you were good enough, if you were somebody else, like, you would have said no. If you were good enough, you wouldn't be in this circumstance. And that is where, like, this little lie that I take on as who I am began. So right then and there, it was like, oh, my mom's from Costa Rica, my dad's from New York, I was born in California, and I'm not good enough. Like, that is where that, like, tape started to, like, sear into my heart and my mind and my body, so that, like, when I'm going to risk myself, like, that voice is there. It's like, oh, but Jen, you're not good enough. You're not like other people. Like, this is not who you are. Stay small. Stay very, very small, because it's safe. And I took on in that moment when I was 4 years old that the world was dangerous. So to risk myself and put myself out there, no. Hurt once, not again. Like, I'm not going to open up my heart in the same way. Like, I am not going to risk myself. It's much safer to be small and not be the contribution that I was created to be, because it's too risky. Like, it's too risky. So I don't know what it was for you. Maybe when you were in elementary school, it could have been anything. It doesn't matter what it was. Your family could have gone to the store and, like, we're going to bring you back a candy. They came back and they didn't bring you anything back. And you made it mean, I don't belong. No one cares about me. I'm worthless. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. If I was only like, then they would have done whatever. And that's where that little tape was like, this is who you are. Sorry. What is it for you? What is that tape that's playing for you? I don't want to be humiliated. I'm not going to risk myself. I'm not smart enough. If you're willing to put it in the chat, put it in the chat. You can send it directly to me and I can read it without your name. But what is it for you? What is it when you're ready to, like, give your word to something that holds you back, that stops you, that it's that voice that's just right there? So we go about in life, right? We go about life and we're like, this is who I am. 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 And we have no access to, like, separating, this is what happened. This is what I made it mean, right? So it's been like this. It's been conflated. I don't know, is that the right word? It's been like this. Look at my hands. So it's been like this the whole time, right? Not distinguished. And once we distinguish that it's there and it's kind of been running the show, we've kind of been allowing it to run the show, when we're like, ooh, there's that thought again. Mr. L. Thomas called me like a month and a half ago. I was like, no, he didn't. He is not going to ask me to come on this call. Mrs. Heather Peary told me that he called her and he's not. No, called him back. Mr. Thomas. Hey, Jen, it's your time. In my mind, no, it's not. I have nothing to contribute. I'm not good enough. I'm not like Mrs. Peary, like Mrs. Driscoll, like Mr. Lewis, Mr. Clemens, Mr. Herbert, like all these people that have come. No. And it was like right then and there, I got to say, hey, this is what I made this thing mean at 4 years old. This is what happened. I get to distinguish, oh, it's that voice right there that's saying, you're not good enough. So I have a choice, right? We have the power at that moment to say, hey, voice, you're right, that's who I am. Or to say, not today, Satan, literally, not today. That's not who I am. And I get to choose something differently. I have access to who I was created to be. I have access to be the contribution that I was created to be. Like, I now have access. I have access to that. Before it's like, born in California, my mama from Costa Rica, my dad from New York. I'm not good enough. That's who I am. And you'll notice it in your language, right? I notice it in my language. It still comes out. My friends call me out all the time. I love it. Like Mrs. T. Ledoux Hayes and Mrs. Heather Peary, we get together twice a week for 15 minutes and we call each other out on our limiting belief and our limited talk when it comes out in language. Like, that's the beauty of doing life in community, right? And like having people know what you're committed to so that they can call you out on who you're created to be. Yeah, we don't have to go around with that tape. I don't care how long it's been playing. You could unplug that record player, I think was a thing back in the day. You can unplug it and you don't have to listen to it anymore. It's like, oh, I'm gonna play. No, 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 no. That's not who I am. So, are there two things that stop you? I don't know. That we have no control over? I don't know. And for those of us who are still distinguishing things, right? I'm in a freaking 2-year-long leadership program that is kicking my butt. I'm in the second year. I'm distinguishing things like weekly, like these voices, like the stuff that I think that's true, that's not true, like continuously, like discovering what's there. It's like a never ending practice, right? Like in conversations and relations with the people as we build our business, like we get to see what's there and we get to choose. So is it circumstances? If we say it is, it is. But if we say it's not, it's not. Is it because of something flawed within us? No, no. That's something that we made up. Like, not to say like you're wrong, you made this up. No, it's just like I don't know, beyond me and my pay grade. Like, I don't get paid that much. Like it's something happened. We made it mean something, and we live as if it's true. Like, you're not wrong for not distinguishing that, or like don't feel bad. Like I have this limiting belief. No, no, no. It's just I don't know, a human thing. The voice of the enemy. I don't know how you want to interpret it or understand it, but it's something that happens with humans. Every one of us, right? There's that. So we get to choose powerfully today. Like line in the sand. Maybe you haven't discovered what it is. You could talk to your friends. I bet you they'll be like, I've seen it limit you. Like, this is what it is in love. Let's walk through this journey together and discover what's there. I I texted T this morning. She was like, I'm praying for you, girl. I'm like, thank you. Keep praying. I'm like, these are my notes. And the note said, created to be a contribution. Blank page after that. But I did write down like 2 or 3 things after that. Okay. So, like I said, I have it that you were created to be a contribution, but something comes along in life, an incident that we make mean something, and we're like, it's too risky to risk ourselves. So I'm just going to share with you in closing a little bit about my journey, like over the last 5 years, kind of like the same, but the last like couple of months, I feel like the Lord has really, really like done some healing and like freed me up of some stuff. So first, I want to say thank you to my dear friend and sister, Mrs. Heather Peary. So we've been friends since high school, junior high, it's debatable. And she is like a sister to me. And she was the one who piqued me about ACN. She sent something in my messenger, in Facebook Messenger. I was like, I don't know what this is. Next. So then she piqued me again. But at that point, I had done some transformational work and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and I started like looking for opportunities. So she piqued me again. She didn't give up. And oh, she Byron Nelson me. So she was like, ta-ta, girl, let me tell you something. And she invited me to go to an event, and I went to the event, and I was like, okay, this is cool. Like ACN looks cool. I wasn't like crazy, like, I'm like, this is great. Let's do it. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so easy. Like, I just talk to people. I don't care what their response is. Like, whatever. Yes, no, whatever. Let's move it. Keep it moving. I was like, I'm going to be an RVP in 3 years. I'm going to break records. I said this to myself, but of course I couldn't risk saying that out loud, like to be on the hook and like to actually believe it. Whatever. I was like, yeah, whatever. Right. The first weekend, I'm going to do this. So a year goes by, 2 years go by, 3 years go by, 4 years go by. I'm an executive team leader. I'm like, wait, what? That's not what I set out to do. I'm an executive team leader. It's been 4 years. I'm an executive team leader. And those thoughts were like right there. They're like, Jen, you're not good enough. Oh, that's right. I'm not good enough. That's right. I'm going to talk to people. Okay, let's talk about business. There was no belief. Like it came out in the way I was being with people. Like no belief at all. So I talk to people, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not good enough. I can't lead someone to success. I can't get someone customer qualified. I can't help them. Like, I can't get them a customer. I am not good enough. That little voice right there. And I was like, okay, voice, you run the show. I'm just going to sit back and be comfortable to not risk myself and like to not really like open up. I'm just going to sit right back here. I'm not going to risk myself. I'm just not good enough. So I was like, I want my business to look a certain way. I'm attached to it looking a certain way. So there's a difference between being like, I want this, and like, oh my gosh, I am committed. I am giving my word. Like I'm standing in some sort of like possibility versus like, oh, I need this. And I was like, oh, I need this. It needs to look this way. And like, oh. So just a couple of months ago, let me back up again. So my reason why I was doing this, well, I'm single, I don't have any kids, and I'm like, Lord, this is my desire. Like, this is what I want. I want to be married and I want to have a family. So I'm going to build my business in such a way that when I have my little ones, I get to spend all the time that I want with them. And then I'm like, okay, there's no one on the horizon. It wasn't like imminent. It wasn't like I wasn't like connected fully, right? I'm like trying to picture myself 9 months pregnant, like trying to waddle, like going to the hospital, like I'm gonna have a baby and I want to take care of them. It just wasn't like, vibing or whatever, right? So okay, there we go, blah blah blah. So that was my reason why. I'm like, yeah, because when I have kids, I want to stay at home, which is amazing. Like, yes, I know Heather shared with me that Mr. Vasuti, that was his reason why when he got started. He was single and didn't have kids, and like that moved him, but whatever. Like, I guess it didn't really move me, apparently. So a couple of months ago, I'm sitting on the beach in Florida with my friend, and she's like, girl, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for some deliverance. I was like, okay, let's pray. And she prayed over me, and I got to like give my whole business to the Lord and like really surrender my business to him. Because I'm like, I'm working. I peak people. You don't know. I freaking showed the business to 50 people in December, like between November and December. One business partner. I'm doing it. Like, I'm doing it. Right? All in my own strength. So we sat on the beach and we prayed and we had like worship music on with my little boombox, little speaker. And it was just a release, like a time of release, like where I surrendered my business to the Lord, like truly, like my mind, my heart, like it was just like, Lord, I literally cannot do this without you. Like literally, like it is your business. I can't do it. And she spoke over me and she was just like, your business is going to grow. Like it's going to grow with ease. Like you're going to have business partners. It's going to grow. And like for the first time I could hear it, because before it's like, Jen, you're going to do, hey, Jen, yeah, you're going to do that, Jen. I'm like, yeah, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do it. Great. I'm not going to like, and for the first time I was like, girl, I received that. And then in the next 2 days, I got like 3 business partners. I've never experienced that in my life. I'm like, Lord, this is your business. Like, you are growing it. Like, I surrender being attached to something. Like, this is yours, and I have it that ACN is a blessing, right? And my prayer is that who it will be a blessing for will, like, oh, I'll get to lock arms with them and like just move it, right? Keep it moving. Like, I literally can't make someone sign up or make someone get customer. Like, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna do my part and be responsible. And like, there's this like surrender, right? So I'm like this, I don't know what. I'm an interpreter and I want to throw some signs in there, not gang signs, but American Sign Language, so it could be clear, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay. So I surrender my business to the Lord. And I remember, so Julian Lewis gave a talk. It was, I don't remember what it was called, but it was amazing and it changed my life. It was like, you know, this is it. Like, the contract has been written. Mr. Lewis, if you want, can you help me with that language? The contract has been written, like the deal has been signed, like it's a done deal. Like, it is a done deal. I literally like went home after his talk and I wrote a contract. I'm like, dear Lord, like, this is the contract. Love your daughter, Jen. Like, I just wrote a contract. I'm like, I surrendered it. And now it's like, I'm declaring it. Like, I'm declaring it out of a space of like, what is possible? Like, what is now possible versus like, it has to be like this. So there was like declaration, and there was my word in the matter. So when I was home in May, excuse the timelines, because I'm like, everything happened in my life 2 months ago. So in May, I was home in California visiting my family, and I was talking with my mom, and she's going to retire next year. And I was like, Mom, how much money are you going to make when you retire? And she's like, about 40% less than what I've been making. I'm like, how's that going to be for you and Dad? And she's like, ooh, it's going to be a little tough. I'm like, oh, okay. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, you want to make money, like, so that you can be a contribution to your parents, but like, you can't do that. You're not good enough. I'm like, oh, wow, Mom, that's going to be tough. So then, like, fast forward like a month, I was on the beach surrendering my business. I heard Mr. Lewis give his talk. That same day, I'm like, that's it. I was created to live, to be a contribution outside of myself, right? And I'm not good enough. That is a bunch of baloney. Like, that's it. I'm writing this contract. So I went home, I started a position for my parents. Within a couple of weeks, they had 49 points. They're like, ACN, ET, they don't know what any of it is. Like, they have no idea. But it was literally like these things that happened, and a decision that was made, and a declaration. And it's like, I told my parents, I said, listen, Mom, you're retiring in June of 2023. At that point, your business with ACN will have $3,000 coming in residually. You guys are like, why 3,000? Why not 20? I don't know. But $3,000, like, I wouldn't have been able to say that 2 weeks before, or like 2 months before. But it's like, it is a done deal. It is a done deal. Like, Mom's like, I just got a check for $20. I'm like, cool, Mom. Where did that come from? I just got a check for $100. I'm like, cool, Mom. That's awesome. Like, she's like, ACN just gave me another little deposit. I'm like, cool, Mom. Like, it'll be slow and it'll grow, you know, as the I actually can say now, like, oh no, I was created to be a contribution. I was created for this. You were created to be a contribution in the way that you in particular were created to be. Miss Belinda Batiste, Miss Marla Blake, Mr. Jecko, Mr. Bob Meyer, Mr. Harrison, like you, Mr. Jomar Sharp, you were created to be the contribution in the way that you were created to be the contribution. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. So circumstances and these like limiting beliefs with you people, it's not going to stop you. You are unstoppable, and you're created for greatness. That's all I got.